Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 3. Today, between Reynor here in the top left spawning as our blue Zerg player playing for Team Kaizi Gaming, and in the bottom right as the red Protoss player for Storm Gaming, it is MaxPax. Oi, 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 oi. What do we have over here? A beautiful game on Cosmic Sapphire to start with. This is a game recently played in the Africa Champions Cup, which was an extremely high-level tournament that did not get streamed on Twitch, also not on YouTube, so I figured a lot of you haven't seen it quite yet. I honestly didn't manage to catch too many games myself either, so... Ooh. MaxPax asleep on the wheel? This is a very unfortunate thing happening here. What is this? Okay, it's gonna be a hatch first on the natural, and then another hatch proxied, or... I was just going to go in to try and proxy it, I guess. That's going to be the plan here. It does seem to... that MaxPax didn't quite see that drone there. That is really, really unfortunate for MaxPax, because this sucks. This situation, as a Protoss player, is just not great to have. Getting a second hatch in your natural actually almost always ends up in favor of the Zerg, and thus I'm not a huge fan of it. Second gateway being built, as well as a core here. Now, that is kind of odd, and it's not a response that I'm super familiar with. Gonna see a second pylon go down as well here. Usually what you see is a single zealot and 5 probes being pulled down to take out the hatchery before it can finish. It seems like MaxPax is going the road of double zealot into double adept and going for some counter pressure instead. Now, that does mean that your nexus is going to be delayed, but at the same time you will be forcing out a lot more units on the other side of the map. So it's going to kind of be a low eco, high aggression type of response here coming out of the Danish Crown Prince. At home for Reynor, we see the gas, we see the pool already, well, 75% done or so, and he's going to be setting up to drone up that natural. Don't forget, as long as this hatchery is still there, technically he doesn't need to build any links whatsoever. I'm curious if he's going to let it finish, or if he'll cancel and try to make an Evo chamber. This is kind of in the territory where it's like, yeah, maybe you'll still finish it. I mean, they'll have 300 HP left, but at the same time, there's going to be 2 adepts. Like, you might as well cancel right now, save the 225 minerals, and spend it on something nice for yourself. Uh-oh! This gateway is right in range of this overlord. It's going to get spotted here. I've never seen this response before in my life. Batteries being built as well. So this is going to be some fairly heavy aggression coming out of MaxPax here. Does not have the cash whatsoever to follow this up with a Nexus. This is pretty much a one base all in. This is a really... Oh my god, it's going to be a Robo as well. He's going to proxy Robo here with a battery. Now speed is nowhere near being done, which means that I actually believe there is a chance that this works. I kind of like the thought of this. Now, this one adept is being caught out, which sucks. Hope it doesn't end up dying. Control there wasn't perfect out of MaxPax. Second adept and the 2 zealots are also here right now. Warp gate is about to finish up. Speed still very far away from finishing. Do we need a Roach Warren? Does not seem like Reynor believes he needs a Roach Warren. He's probably just going to continue building queens. He has the 1 spine out as well, which is going to be extremely helpful, but I'm not so sure about all of this, honestly. I am not so sure about all of this. Getting immortals against a Zerg player that is on 2 bases can work out really well for Protoss, especially if you do have a full wall at home, which is the case here. So MaxPax with that Warp Gate is going to get a lot of units. Oh my god, a supply box. That's actually painful to look at. Oi, 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 oi. Half of that Chrono Boost is going to be completely wasted into nothingness. Now, second battery is up back here. We're seeing another Adept and a Sentry being warped in as well. This Immortal being this delayed actually kind of sucks. We need to see a lot more units warped in here in order for MaxPax to be capable of holding this general position. Because right now, I just don't think he has enough damage output. There's so many links here, 39 links. Spine is fighting, 4 queens are fighting as well. And MaxPax can't even defend his own Robo and can't defend his batteries right now. Because he can't even fight the queens by themselves. Immortal is going to end up popping right now. That means that this Spinecrawler will start taking a little bit more damage. But there's already so much damage on these gate units as well. These force fields were very good. But I'm not so sure if this is enough. I mean, this position is compromised at this point. No probe can save it anymore. There are 4 queens out with 2 more on the way. The worker count is 21 against 23. And the moment that this, that this is going to get cleaned up, I think MaxPax is pretty much dead here. Like, there's really not that much that he can do right now. At least I don't think so. 33 supply against 51. We have a Nexus going down at home. He's still struggling with this full wall. Does not have any tech here either. It does have the money for a Stargate, but I mean, by the time your first Stargate unit is out, there's going to be 15 queens. Like, there's 6 queens already at this point. Usually, if you come in with 1 Oracle, there's maybe 3, maybe 4 queens. Most of the time, there's just 3 queens total. I mean, this is just feeling awful here for Max. Double Adepts in the natural will need to save this wall. Some rewalling will need to happen as well, but I mean, this game just feels uber over in my mind. It's gonna need to rewall in 2 locations because this ain't it. Hello, can we get a rewall? There we go. 1 pylon is going to be constructed here. This is not a full wall. Okay, that's a good force field. It's going to save this, but no more reinforcements will be viable at this point, and that means we'll need to see a major rewall in this area. It's gonna get it down. Oh my god. Oh, he just went for a full hold position with the probe included. Could build a pylon over here, I guess, to complete the wall, but doesn't really have the cash for that either. First Oracle is on the way. It's 34 workers against 27. The Nexus is finishing up just now, but the third base has almost finished already. There's an Evo chamber on the way. Gas mining has started once more as we see full saturation in the main and in the natural for Reynor. There's a lot of links that potentially can still deny a third base as well, so MaxPax will need to use Oracle energy defensively if he wants to get a third base, but at this point he doesn't even really have the cash to get a third base. He's still working off a single gateway as well over here. Yeah, life just doesn't look so good for the young Dane at this moment, who decides to send his first Oracle straight away across the map, and it's going to scout the fact that there is a third base done already, that there is a 8th queen on the way, despite there only being a single Oracle as well, so 3 queens per base. Still somehow manages to get 3 worker kills. That's so funny. Well, I guess the Oracle also dies. That's a little bit less funny. Usually you see Reynor defending with like 4 queens against 2 Oracles and losing half a drone. This time it was 6 or 7 queens against 1 Oracle and did manage to lose 3 drones there. Of course he gets the Oracle, which makes life a little bit better for him, but still kind of funny. Double extractors being taken right now. This game is extremely over. I don't even really see a way for MaxPax to take this base. Like, he's just gonna get blasted here by these links. This probe is also going to get taken out, and we'll need to send a new one. It's going to be... It will be like a Roach Max against a 40 drone or 40 probe hold. Like, that's just going to be it. Or it's going to be some type of link flood. And even if MaxPax holds, he's still going to be on 35 workers. Decides to go into Fleet Beacon and second Stargate, but I mean, this is some real wishful thinking. I'm not quite sure why he's staying in, honestly. It makes very little sense to me. It is 88 supply against 53. I think this fourth base has been spotted already. The fact that extra gases are being taken, that there's a lair on the way, all of these things combined. I mean, it's just showing that Reynor is so far ahead right now. We can talk about this for days, but Reynor has won this game already. And the only one that does not seem to be aware of that right at this moment is just MaxPax. Everyone else is fully aware of this right now. The viewers, you, me, Reynor as well. Maybe somewhere deep down MaxPax also feels it. You know, it's like, I have an Adept and a Void Ray. My opponent has 9 queens. And I'm constructing 2 Tempest right now. Like, it's not really going to be it. Spire is on the way here for Reynor, who honestly is going to get Corruptors out by the time these Tempests reach his side of the map. We have the Pneumatized Carapace on the way, so most likely it's just going to be some type of Roach, Corruptor, Queen push. And that's just going to straight up win the game here. I mean, he might try to go into Mutas because he doesn't know that it's Tempest, but the moment he sees the Tempest, actually no, it's just going to be an all-in here. It's just going to be a regular Queen drop. Spire is more of a backup in case there are air units here, or a lot of air units that he can't kill with just the 9 queens or the 8 queens that he's going to put in these Overlords. But I don't think it's even going to be necessary. There's a lot of links on the map with +1. There's a couple of Roaches out already as well. Now, these Tempests might just accidentally fly into the Overlords. 4 probes did go down somewhere. At the same time, a couple of drones are being taken out by these 2 Adepts. So some actual damage is being dealt. Let's see what Reynor's trying to do. Oh my god, the Queen drop on top of the Tempest is going to take out this Tempest. Yep, just with the last shot. GG gets called. MaxPax gives up in game number 1 with Reynor taking the dub off of that big proxy hatchery play. Second game of this best of 3 is going to be played over here on Inside and Out. And on Inside and Out, wild things tend to happen. We'll see if that's going to be the case this time around as well. Shipper Gateway coming down, straight hatch block. So this kind of feels like it's going to be some type of Twilight Council build. Majority of the time when MaxPax plays Stargate, he likes Gateway Scout more so than anything else. Now, he has been kind of keen on all of these 3-gate or 4-gate glaive openers that kind of fall in and out of fashion every couple of months. You know, Protoss players, they'll play it a bunch and then they're like, meh, I feel like I'm getting hard countered too much, and they'll stop playing them altogether, and then a couple of weeks later they'll just play them again. Hope that the Zergs forgot their proper responses, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some new builds usually come out as well, like slightly different type of all-in with glaive adepts, or you had a couple of faster immortals. There's some DTs with blink in there, which is what we saw Strange do against Reynor in the most recent ESL Open, or what's it called? The most recent ESL regionals in Europe, in the group stage. We saw that happen. This is going to be... Oh, this was a core into Nexus, actually. Oh, that's a really cute build. I like this build. So, you almost never see this in this matchup. This is a very uncommon build order, and it allows the Protoss to get a faster Adept, a faster Warp Gate research as well, and this is especially good with builds that do not include a fast robotics facility. So it's going to be an Adept Chrono, most likely, with the quick Warp Gate as well. Hello? Yeah, kind of fast. Quick Warp Gate, and then a Twilight Council. Now, the reason why a fast robo isn't really possible is because you just don't have that much cash to get extra gateways in that case, and also you don't really have the gas in order to afford anything that you want to. And we are indeed seeing the first Adept already being chrono boosted out. Second Adept should also receive a chrono boost here, and that's indeed going to be the case. As right now there's about 100 gas in the bank. Let's take a look. Is it going to be a Twilight? No, an extra gateway being warped in first. That's kind of weird, because this gateway timing makes very, very little sense. Just doesn't do very much. Going to be a quick Stalker. Adept wanting to finish that shade over here. Does not quite manage to do it. Huh. Third gate is on the way. That is perfectly in time, but no Twilight. So this could just be a 3-gate into like a double Stargate as well. There's a lot of possibilities here. Now, these double Adepts are going to finish up, I think, because that's the correct call. So you're going to need to get a couple of link kills here, maybe 1 or 2 worker kills as well, in order for this to be worth it. We once again have to shade out, and, well, oh my god, that was a really big mistake there out of MaxPax. Going to end up losing 1 Adept for free. We'll cancel the shade there. That means that this Adept is going to stay here, get 2 worker kills. And we'll get a third one. Yep, we'll get a third one indeed. Link speed finishes up. Was this worth it for MaxPax, losing 2 Adepts, killing 5 links and 3 drones? I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Like, it's hard to say. I want to say yes, and at the same time I want to say no, because I'm not sure. And that's really just the reality of things here. We have to follow up with the triple gates. 352 they finish up. We already have a couple of chrono boosts here on the glaives. Now, if you're going to finish this with triple chronos on glaives, that means that it's going to finish up in about a minute from now at the 5-minute mark. Wonder how many Adepts you're really going to be capable of building with that, as this shade managed to go towards the far right side. Extra gate, extra gates, plural, are going to be produced here. So this doesn't seem to just be a 3-gate or a 4-gate follow-up into like maybe a disruptor drop or something along those lines. No, this is a full-blown all-in here, coming out of MaxPax. Reynor sticking to a very low drone count, not quite understanding what is going on. Sees these Adept and is like, hey, what's kicking off here? I'm sticking to 39 workers. Are there any spores? No, there are not. Reynor just seems fairly confused here as to what MaxPax is doing exactly. And that's not good. That's not good. You always need to be aware of what's going on. None of these shades are going to get finished up. Reynor needs to... I feel like Reynor should have droned up a little bit higher to 44, 45, 46 or so. Because the problem is he can't really do it anymore at this point. But he's going to lose some workers. That's just a fact. Yeah, so now we're seeing the double spores and we're seeing the 6 drones that should have been built earlier. And these 6 drones actually are necessary because Adepts always kill some workers and you don't want to be down too far in workers as the Zerg player. You can lose a couple, but not too many. Yeah, now there's a lot of drones on the way, and that's a mistake, because this is just a straight-up 6-gate attack coming out of MaxPax here with the early 2 Adepts, and 7 roaches, 27 links. Links are pretty much out of position. There's going to be a full war here as well. These bad boys are going to finish up, but there's no links to keep them in position. First few drones will be taken out. These adepts will not be taken out by the links either. I think the links should have actually been at home to deal with this type of minor harassment. I mean, at home you're just going to warp in a couple of adepts and be completely fine. Reynor, however, is not fine whatsoever. Has already lost 9 workers. Is losing more and more workers in his natural now as well. Going down to 31, 30, 29, 28 workers. As there's still a couple of adepts active in every single base, that means that no mining is going down whatsoever. 1900 minerals a minute for MaxPax against 363 minerals per minute for Reynor, who finally starts mining again in the main. But honestly, with what drone count? There's only 30 workers left. Yes, there are 5 more on the way, but I don't really think that is going to be enough. A couple more adepts move, a couple more. This is a decent chunk of adepts once again moving in, shading in towards the 3rd base. There's only 2 workers there currently, and we do see the cancel there on that shade. The good thing for Reynor is that he kept a lot of his roaches alive, which means he doesn't need to rebuild those. Reynor also is aware of the fact that there is no 3rd base, but he doesn't know that the follow-up is going to be Dark Templar. Spore in the natural is done, but is also damaged a little bit. There is no Spore in the 3rd base, and life could get very, very tricky here for Reynor pretty soon from this point on out. Adepts in the natural do not target fire drones whatsoever. Adepts in the main will take out a couple once more. Then there's 2 adepts at the 3rd base as well, and 5 drones will end up falling in total here. A couple more here at the tail of this fight, the tail end of this fight. Now triple DTs get warped in, start moving in. Reynor needs a surround here on this Spore. It's not quite maybe going to be necessary. Spore is on the way on the 3rd base, needs to perhaps body block these DTs out, as MaxPax is going to drop them on top of, well, the Spores in the main, I guess. We do have this 1 Spore at the 3rd going down. And when I say going down, I really mean going down, as it's currently being taken out. Trying to bug this DT away, and then perhaps with transfuses capable of saving it is not going to be the case here, as it dies before it finishes up. DTs, oh my god, will kill the Spore in the natural. Reynor forced to tap out with a very tricky defense. Did not quite manage to make it work. And MaxPax with a 2 base all-in takes the 2nd map. Beautiful stuff as we pop into game number 3 here on Data C. So we see hatch block did go down in this game once more. MaxPax with a similar start as last time. This time though with a faster nexus. Still we see that warp gate start basically immediately. Which kind of feels like a Twilight Council build in my mind. Perhaps could be a robotics facility as well. Robotics facility plays have been somewhat popular, especially in the Korean server. From Korean Protoss players. Not quite as much in Europe. Or in North America. I don't think NEEP or Australia are huge robotics facility players. But I could be wrong on that, of course. I'm not ultra familiar with how the most North American TOSes play. Let's take a look at the gas income. Alright, 2 pulled out of gas kind of feels like it's going to be a Glaive Adept build once more. Rather than being something like a DT drop or a Blink Stalker all-in, which is honestly quite rare to see already. But always a possibility, of course. Adept's going to finish up here. Might move towards the high ground to try and take out some of these drones from the high ground. One of the cool moves that we don't always see, but MaxPax is quite keen on that on some of these maps. This Adept's taking a lot of damage. Really taking a lot of damage. Only 6 HP remaining there. 2 more gateways are on the way here. That means that we're going to see a 3-gate Glaive, which is kind of similar to a build that Strange has been playing a lot. Often with a fast 3rd base as well being constructed. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be similar here. No, we're seeing a fast robotics facility pre-3rd base. So it's definitely different, but could still be some heavy pressure. Of course, could once again be the 6-gate that we saw last game, just with a slightly different opener. There's a complete possibility here. As the 3rd gate is about to finish up. Glaives is already a little bit over halfway done right now, as this 3rd gas is also being constructed. And it's just out of vision range here of this Overlord. Look at that. Overlord sees this gas and sees it being completely empty. It's kind of weird that you would want to hide the fact that you're building a gas. Unless you're planning on playing a Dark Shrine as a follow-up, perhaps. I think that might be it here. That it's going to be a Dark Shrine as a follow-up. Because otherwise you always want to show it. You always want to show the fact that you have gas. Because it makes the opponent feel safer. They see gas as like, okay, this is less all-in. This is going to be less gateways, less probe cuts. And all of that is pretty useful if you're actually planning on going for some type of... What is this? Some straight gateway pressure with glaives. I mean, this just looks like a weak version of a Glaive Adept build, honestly. Yes, there's a fast Robo Bay. Now there's a 4th gas on the way. Just not so sure what the follow-up is going to be here. Lots of links and roaches are being produced here. Perhaps a bit of overkill coming out of Reynor once more. I mean, this is a really minor attack here from MaxPax. The Prism is just... It's not even out yet. Right now it's being popped out. It's going to make its way across the map. There's no third base. This Robo Bay, I mean, it's going to finish up at some point and we're going to see some disruptors, but I'm not super impressed by this early game. And the funny thing is that Reynor is already building 3 blind spores because he also believes something weird is going on. He's like, hey, like, is this DTs or what's kicking off here, Chief? And I honestly can't really blame the guy. Going up to 44 workers right now. We do have the gravitic speed coming in. First disruptor on the way. I don't think these adepts are going to deal any damage whatsoever, though. This is some poor control here out of Reynor. It's now finally going to send these links around. Both of these adepts are going to end up falling. That's nice. Oh, one queen will die as well here, though, at the same time. Roach count is so extremely high. That is actually kind of scary. Still no third base here. Reynor is not aware of that. I like that he's droning up just a tiny tad. I think that's going to be fairly helpful. A lot of these creep tumors also are being taken out at the same time, though. That is a little bit less appealing if you're a Reynor fan. These adepts actually will end up finishing and start taking out a lot of these workers, 8 to be exact. Once again, links being out of position, not being very helpful whatsoever here for Reynor. You could say, well, it's nice that you're doing some counter damage, but there's not even an attempt at third base yet. And if there was, I mean, 3 adept warpins definitely are going to be capable of making sure that that Nexus goes down. Much rather have these links defensively, in my opinion. I think that was a pretty sizable mistake coming out of Reynor, who still doesn't have a fourth base either. And is now going to get double disruptor dropped by MaxPax. He's transitioning into Blink, getting his forge as well behind this, and his third base all at the same time. 4 adepts moving into this area will get spotted by these overlords. As more and more adepts are moving out on the map, this is going to be a 16 adept attack with 2 disruptors as well. Now, this base is safe once there's 2 adepts there. Battery could help even more, whereas the observer just gets taken out here in vision of the spore with the detection range. There's just not that many links. That means that disruptors could actually be kind of useful here. A lot is going to depend on the split here out of Reynor. Oh, that was an okay split initially, but ends up losing 3 roaches there. Loses 1 more roach as the adepts now decide to perhaps finish a shade. There are some units trying to chase them. We have a split off here. 2 adepts in towards the natural and a lot of adepts heading in towards the main base. Both of the disruptors are still alive and going in for a rotation to perhaps a different base or just the safety for now. 4 drones get taken out. We have 7 more drones on the way. Is there any production of units behind this? Not so much. One queen is going to fall there. Another queen gets hit by a stray purification nova. MaxPax at the end of this little trip, this adventure that we just witnessed, is up 3 workers, has better upgrades going. In my mind, superior tech. The only thing that worries me a tiny bit is that the creep has pushed very far throughout the middle, and that could definitely suck. Oh my god. I missed that Prism almost dying. 2 HP remaining. That is close. That is close. And that would have been game-changing. But now it's not going to be game-changing. This fourth base is very, very late. There's already 6 gases on the way here for MaxPax, who is going to move into a game right now with a pretty massive lead in my mind. I mean, he has the ability to harass with the Prism, with the 2 disruptors. He has vision on the map, so he can take out these creep tumors. He has blink out already as well. Prism moving towards the bottom side. There's some map control with adepts as well at the watchtower, so the vision feels good, the attack feels good, the overall unit composition and infrastructure is also pretty okay. I mean, 6 gateways. Ideally, you would have 8 and maybe... Well, actually, we're gonna get 8 here. Yeah, okay, 8 gateways. Now, this is perfect. There's potential here for an actual push, as this disruptor shot is going to kill a couple of roaches. The second disruptor shot kills 4 drones as well, and life is looking worse. Starting to look worse and worse here for Reynor. Big fan of these type of stalker move outs with an observer, just trying to clear creep before you go for the push in. Now we have this Prism in phase mode. We have triple disruptors and +1 finishing up here. This is going to be a very difficult hold for Reynor, who honestly is going to mainly rely on his queens tanking some of these purification novas. And from there on out, well, hopefully getting a kill here or there. We have a link round by. I like it this time around. Just trying to deal some damage on a potential 4th base. And if this 4 dies, I already believe that Reynor is in a really, really bad spot. This Purification Nova is going to kill one of the queens, deal damage on another. 2 more Purification Novas remaining. This one will completely miss. But at the same time, the Stalkers just deal so much damage by themselves. And every single time the Roaches need to run, 1 or 2 Roaches will end up falling. And Purification Novas come back, but a dead Roach cannot be reincarnated. So, yeah, that's pretty sucky here, honestly. Fort base gets taken out, so MaxPax is going to be just up a base. He's already up an upgrade with a second upgrade on the way. I'm not so sure about this push forward, but it seems to be safe enough. I mean, he can always just move back. There's not that much creep to chase with. Might lose one Disruptor here or there. Might lose a Stalker, but overall these trades are, of course, fantastic. If you're outmining your opponent, or if you're an even supply, or just even income against a Zerg, you can just consistently be trading like this. As long as it's off creep, as long as no big surround ends up happening. Here's the start of one of these surrounds, but honestly, there's only 4 roaches and 3 queens here. Lynx coming in from the back with that +1 melee will deal a lot of damage, but I just don't think there is enough. Reynor going to get taken out here by MaxPax in a best of 3. After a fantastic first game with a proxy hatch, just could not quite hold these aggressive build orders from the Danish Protoss players. G gets called as MaxPax wins the series with a 3-1 score.